Dozens of items we use every day have mind-blowing secrets about additional ways to use them. From kitchen gadgets to household items, I guarantee these hacks will change your life. This hole on your soda can is not a waste of space, and your coffee lid doesn't have to be immediately thrown away. And your kitchen scissors, they can do much more than cutting. A lot of kitchen scissors actually come with a bottle opener on them. So in a pinch, if you don't have one, you can just use your scissors. Right onto the bottle cap right here. Comes off with no problem. But they also have one more hidden feature. In the middle right here are these sharp blades, which I've accidentally cut myself on a few times. So I've got a pistachio here, and if you've ever eaten pistachios, you know ones like this are impossible to open. So you can just put it in between those little blades on your scissors right there. Squeeze the scissors shut. It did open the pistachio, but honestly, half of the shell went flying across my kitchen. But at least I get to enjoy the pistachio now, right? As I go through these, I'm gonna rank them also so you know which ones are best. The bottle opener on this is perfect. The nutcracker could be better since it sends it across my kitchen. I'm gonna put this life hack in A tier. If you've ever cooked with an Instant Pot before, you know that sometimes you take the lid off to stir fry inside of it, sometimes it's on to pressurize cook, and it goes back and forth, but the lid can get really dirty. Now you could take the lid and put it right on your counter, but it's gonna get your counter dirty with whatever's on the bottom of the lid. So one of the cool things is the side handles of the Instant Pot. On both sides of the handle here, there's actually a little hole indented into it, and it's the perfect size to fit the lid inside of it. So it just goes in right like that. You can see it's actually designed for it, and with the lid slid in, it's held in place. It pretty much can't move at all. In fact, I could lift the whole Instant Pot with it. That's how held in place it is. And now your counter won't get dirty. Take it out when you need to cover it back up, and you're all good to go. This one's super practical, really easy to use, and simply just works well. I'm gonna put it in S tier. We've all used a skillet before, and you've probably seen the hole on the handle, which you can obviously use to hang it somewhere. So if you've got a hook rack in your kitchen, it's great for hanging just like this. But when you're actually cooking with the skillet, you can use the hole on this another way. Let's say you have a spatula that you're cooking with inside of here, and the spatula gets all dirty, and you don't want to rest it on your counter. You can put the side of the spatula that you hold inside of the hole right here and hold your utensil, and it's actually gonna hold it upright for you instead of being on the counter. Even if I kind of move this side to side, that spatula is holding in there pretty well, just wobbling a little bit back and forth. Now, does this life hack work? Yes. Is it practical? Honestly, I think no. If you have a dirty spatula and you put it into the hole right here, it's probably still gonna drip onto your counter the exact same way. For that reason, I'm gonna put this life hack in D tier. I don't think I'd ever use it, and I don't think you should either. Man, I don't know why this hairdryer just doesn't blow super well. Actually, I do, and if you have a hairdryer that also doesn't have great airflow, it's probably because of this. Almost all hairdryers have a thing that you can open on the back, and inside of that is actually a filter. You can take this out and replace those filters. That hairdryer filter is gonna collect lint over time and definitely needs to be cleaned. In fact, most manufacturers recommend cleaning it monthly. So definitely go check your hairdryers. I bet they'll work a lot better after you clean them. This is a super practical life hack that I feel like most people don't know about. In fact, my wife used this hairdryer for multiple years and never knew to clean that filter. For that reason, I'm putting this one in S tier. If you have a soda can or a can of whatever you want to drink, there's a good way to put and hold a straw in it. So after cracking your can open, you can use the little tab that you cracked it open with and rotate it 90 degrees around. Actually 180 degrees. And now this hole that's on top of it right there, you can fit a straw into, except not really this one. So let's try a different one. This one's a silicone straw. Honestly, it's pretty tough to fit in the hole also. I'm gonna try doing it with the reverse way and opening it first, putting the straw in, and then never mind, the straw is too tall, so it's impossible to get the tab on it. So this life hack would work if you had the plastic reusable straws. I do think they would fit in this hole, but I'm more in favor of reusable straws, which none of the two that I have seem to fit inside of here. I see this as a potential benefit, but not in most situations. I'm gonna put this one in C tier. I swear Tic Tacs are a candy that no one goes out of their way to buy, but yet they've still been around for like 100 years somehow. But one of the annoying things about eating them is that to get one of them out, you kind of just have to shake it in your hand, and you typically get a bunch of them even if you only want one. But the container actually has a life hack built into it to fix that. So on the tab that you open, you see that there's actually this little hole right here the size of one Tic Tac. And what you can do is turn the container upside down with it closed, shake it a little bit, and then just open from that tab again. And just like that, only one Tic Tac is supposed to be in there, but apparently we got two, which is still better than getting a random handful, but let's see if we can get just one. I'm gonna shake it a little less this time and just open it, and there we go. Just one orange Tic Tac came out that time, which you can then grab, close it back up, and eat. Now look, is this life hack gonna change your life? Since you probably almost never buy these, I'm gonna go with probably not, but it is pretty cool, pretty practical, and built into the container, which many people don't know. I'm gonna put this one in B tier. The good old pasta spoon is definitely the best way to cook pasta, but it can do another thing. On the pasta spoon itself, you can see a big old hole in the middle, which is of course used to drain water, but can also do something else. You can actually use that hole to measure out one serving of pasta. So I'm using rice noodles instead of pasta noodles, which definitely makes it a little bit more complicated to measure this directly, but you can see this kind of fits through the hole right there with not too much room extra, which means this is probably about one serving of rice noodles. Now, nobody ever makes just one serving of spaghetti anyways, but in a pinch, I think it's a good tool to use to measure about how much spaghetti you're making. I'm gonna say it's somewhat practical and put this one in B tier. Millions of disposable cup lids go to waste every single day. They're just thrown out right after using them, but there's a great use for them. In the middle of drinking your drink or right after, you can take off that lid, flip it around, and actually use it as a coaster for your cup. Now clearly the lid I have has this little bump in it right here, which makes resting the cup a little bit unsecure. It's a little bit wobbly. However, the lid itself doesn't have any holes and clearly would catch any liquid or protect the counter from the heat. And I think there are probably some lids which don't have the bump inside of them, which would work a little bit better too. The weird thing with this one is that if the drink is hot and you try to use the lid as a coaster, your drink's gonna get cold pretty quickly. But on the other hand, it does work. It does act as a coaster. It could protect your countertops or wherever you want to put that hot or cold drink. And maybe you can even wash off the lids and reuse them far into the future as your set of coasters. That could be fun. I think this one's semi-practical, but I'm gonna lean towards C tier for this. Whiteboards are the greatest tool that pretty much no one owns for some reason. And we've all been there before where we accidentally write on a whiteboard with a permanent marker. Now, of course, a regular paper towel is not gonna do too much for you. It gets rid of that permanent marker, but you definitely still have a stain. Apparently you can take a dry erase marker, draw on top of that permanent marker, basically like acting as an eraser, but not an eraser, and then use the eraser on the dry erase marker to get rid of both at the same time. Uh-oh, that's not working too well. It is coming off a bit. And here's the results of this life hack right here, which you can see is clearly still a mess. But actually, while doing this life hack, I found out that the permanent marker, which is up here, if you scrub it enough with the paper towel, it gets rid of the first layer right away. And then you can actually just use your finger to wipe away that remaining layer right there. Just like that. Here is the original permanent marker, which you probably don't see much of at all. And here is the permanent marker that we put the dry erase marker on top of and then try to erase. Now, of course, the paper towel will still get out the one that you put it on top of as well, and then you don't have to use your finger to get the last layer out, so I guess it works that way too. But I think we just found out that dry erase boards these days are okay with permanent markers, which is definitely a life hack in its own that I'll put in S tier, but I'm gonna put the original one in D tier. It doesn't work any better than just wiping it away with a paper towel. Aluminum foil probably one of the most difficult and annoying things to take out of the package and rip to the proper size, especially because as you pull it, the roll kind of just goes all over the place and can even fall out of the box itself. But did you know that the boxes actually have a built-in solution for that? On the side of the box right here, you see this super hidden push tab that they don't make obvious at all, but you can actually push it in once your roll is properly lined up, and it will go into the roll right there. So the tab is now hiding inside of your aluminum roll right inside of there. And once you've done that on both sides of the aluminum foil, you can freely pull this with no concerns that the roll is going anywhere. That roll is super held into place, and even if I try to pull the roll itself out, it's clearly not going anywhere. This is an amazing life hack that you should definitely use with your aluminum foil roll because, again, it's already built in, so why not use it? This is clearly going in S tier. If you've ever pulled up to a gas station, unsure of which side your fuel tank is on, especially if you're renting a car, there's a way to figure it out without going outside. Almost all cars on their dashboard have the little fuel symbol with an arrow that points one of the directions. So you can see this one is pointing to the left. And that arrow actually tells you which side of the car it's on. So my arrow's pointing left. Let's check the left side of my car. Clearly, here we are, left side of the car. Here's the fuel tank ready to be filled. Every single time I rent a car, I use this life hack. I think it's an excellent one. I'm gonna put this in S tier also. If you're ever in your car and it's an absolute emergency, you need to get out of the car, but you can't use any of the power and the windows won't open, there is a life hack that works for that. You can take your car headrest and pull it out like you would be adjusting it, but pull it all the way out, and then use the bottom of these handles right here to actually smash the window open. Now, of course, this is for emergencies. I can't prove and test this one myself, but if it works, it's perfect. Just in case, I'm gonna be safe and put this in A tier. To watch me review Shark Tank products as well, make sure you click right here and don't forget to subscribe.